Greetings. It's Coach Tina, spiritual life coach and founder of Crossing Time Coaching. And it's tea time with Tina once more on Tuesday. And I am still striving and seeking to become the best coach ever for you. So, welcome back for those who are used to joining me on Tuesdays. I took a couple of weeks off as I'm still trying to work through my social media learning and training and challenges. However, I'm here and I'm going to keep showing up and I'm going to keep pushing you to consider letting me be your life coach. So today, what are we going to talk about? But first, let me just do a recap real quick. For those of you who are new and you're not familiar with me, you can check me out at Crossing Time Coaching on all of my social media platforms at Instagram, YouTube, of course, my website, and Facebook. Yeah, excuse me for the little mind drop there for a moment. But I would love to partner with you as you are setting goals to establish for yourself to move forward in your life, because that's what life coaching is all about. Having an accountability partner to help you to identify and set those goals that you want to grow and move yourself towards. And that's what we're about at Crossing Time Coaching, helping to empower you for your purpose, because we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose when we were created in God's image, and He gave us a purpose when He created us. So with that being said, my last conversation with you was about rest and relaxation, the importance of us stopping and allowing ourselves to relax without social media, without our laptop. Just have leisure activities, downtime, to relax yourself for your mental and health well-being as well as your physical well-being. So I hope you kind of considered and took my advice from our last talk. And now you're ready to join me as today's topic is coming out of your comfort zone, stretching yourself out of that comfortable place to move into your next comfortable one and even beyond that. So what am I going to talk about today? I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks and thoughts about why you may want to really reevaluate how easy things are right now, how comfortable you feel with yourself, about how you're progressing towards your goals. So what I'm going to talk about first is why it's important for us to step out of our comfort zones and some of the opportunities that we can gain when we do that. And then secondly, we're going to come behind that and we're going to learn what the comfort zone is and isn't about and how to figure it out. So, one, why is it important to step out of your comfort zone? Well, I'm just going to describe it as it is described and defined, is that a comfort zone first is a behavioral space where your activities and your behaviors fit a pattern and a routine that minimizes stress and risk. So what does that mean to us? We feel good. We feel safe. We feel confident. We feel like it's a familiar place for us to go sit and rest when we're in our comfort zone. And that makes sense because we all need to have that. Because what happens when you start to step out of your comfort zones? You start to feel potentially at risk, unsafe, vulnerable even, and not quite sure of yourself. It becomes uncomfortable. But guess what? It can also, within that place of discomfort, help us to catapult to new levels. If we're willing to just move forward and know it's going to be all right. I had to do it. I had to push myself, challenge myself. You know, I've talked about it in previous tea times and 2 Minutes with Tina, is that social media and I were not good friends. I didn't want to be a good friend to this platform. I didn't want to have to be involved in this world of technology. However, the gains and the benefits that I've made from pushing myself to learn more about this. I get to see you all more often. I'm showing up more consistently. And I don't have to wait for in person because after all, the pandemic shut us down from being able to see each other in person. Therefore, we had to come out on a certain level of our comfort zones just to keep life functioning. And I had to do that just to hopefully keep my business going. So what I want to talk about are what are some of the benefits. One, it helps us to grow new skills. Again, I could have been a detriment to myself if I had not stopped and said, okay, Tina, you're going to do this and you're going to have to do this. And as uncomfortable as you may feel in it, guess what's going to happen on the other side? As you're stretching yourself out of that comfort zone, you would have learned something new. you would now be able to do this. You will now be able to film yourself, upload your clips onto YouTube, which I would have never been able to do that in the past. I utilized other services, other people to do that for me. And now I'm feeling more confident. I'm feeling better. I mean, I always give the best look, but I'm doing the best I can with what I'm doing for myself to learn and continue to grow. And I'm going to keep growing because, after all, as long as you're living and breathing, you should never stop learning and growing. Two, it builds resiliency. And that I can say I have certainly learned as well. You know, there's two types of stress in life. There's the stress we create for ourselves, and it is the stress that's completely out of our control. It just comes at us, we have no control over it. So by pushing ourselves into a new and uncomfortable space, we can also improve our ability to handle challenging circumstances so that are outside of our control. So when those things come up, we're much more resilient. We're stronger to be able to handle and cope with it and then maneuver through it more gracefully. So again, I pushed myself on those platforms, and I'm still pushing myself for the sake of my business, because I'm determined that I am going to be the best coach ever at Crossing Time Coaching for anyone who chooses to invite me in as their spiritual life coach. Three, it helps us to improve our focus. Think about it. If I'm learning new skills and I'm growing, for me to be able to do that, for you to be able to do that with anything it may be, if it's gardening, if it's you trying to set a health goal for yourself, you've got to be focused about it, right? You've got to be determined and intentional about what you're trying to accomplish. Therefore, if I take my eyes off of it, I take my focus off of it, once again, I'm going to slide back into that comfort zone, not having gotten to where I want to try to go, for what it is I'm trying to do for myself next. So when we're trying a new skill, we usually have to really focus on what it is that we're doing. And within the process, once more, we've gained something new, and we've helped ourselves to move forward. Number four, it helps drive efficiency. Because as I'm growing new skills, I'm becoming more resilient, I'm keeping my focus, I'm probably becoming more efficient in whatever it is I've been working towards as I'm stretching out of that comfort zone. So I'm going to go back to myself. I've learned creative new ways to do things here. Every time I sit down to do a new clip, a new video for YouTube, or just to go live as I've done and I will continue to do in the next couple of weeks with you, I'm learning something new, and it's driving my efficiency and ability and capability to continue to show up more in a more efficient and streamlined way. And I hope a more inviting and pleasing and engaging way for you to want you to keep coming back. So, in my case, as I just mentioned to you, if I'm trying to be the best coach ever, but be the best spiritual life coach as a goal that I've set for myself, because my goal that I've set for myself for the gifts that God has given me is to touch the lives of others through Christ and to help people realize their full potential and to spread positivity and self-awareness into the world. Social media allows us to do so much more efficiently, and I know that going door to door isn't going to get it. Trying to rent out a room to invite people in isn't going to get it, because we're still at a distance. We're just starting to come up and lift our heads out of this pandemic. So this way, how many people can I reach? An infinite number. And so hopefully you'll understand the efficiency of coming out of a comfort zone, what it does as you're building skills, your resilience level. You're being more focused about it. And then lastly, it helps to serve your spiritual purpose, because we all have a purpose. Part of my motto at Crossing Time Coaching is we are here to help empower you for your purpose, because we've all been created in God's image, and He gave us a purpose when He put us here to fulfill. So what we want to do to be able to learn and help ourselves fulfill our spiritual purpose is that we have to step out of the comfort zone. Whether or not you know it, God does have plans for you. It's a matter of trying to understand what they are through your maturation in life, through your growth and development. So what is that? Because the anchor there is in your faith always. That's what's going to push you through. That's what's going to get you through. If I had stayed in my comfort zone, being at a law firm 2 decades almost, still working there, but just sitting and waiting, Until I stepped out of that to start this, I would never be where I am right now. Because I know this is my purpose. This is part of what the gifts that God gave me to do. And the only way I'm going to do it is I'm going to come out once more of that easy place that makes me feel oh so safe and warm and comfortable and say, Tina, you've got to rise up, step up, and move forward. And that's going into that uncomfortable place until I become comfortable within it. And then I go into the next uncomfortable spot until I get to that comfort zone with it. So it just goes from one step to the next step to the next. So as I wind this up, the second part of this is how do we push ourselves? Or better yet, what's the sweet spot and how much is too much, okay? So now I know as we're moving into the comfort zone, as I've said before, we're pushing ourselves, but then we need to know when we're taking it too far also. So a good rule of thumb for you to try to identify how you know you're pushing it too far, too fast, too much, is how you feel after you've done something challenging. If you feel accomplished and motivated and it keeps you going forward and pushing forward, then that's a positive place. That's a positive outcome. But not everything has that immediately. Not everything gives us that response that we were hoping to get. And sometimes it requires us in recognizing it's going to be a long-term process. It may not happen as quickly or as fast as we want it to. I know I'm in this for the long haul. I'm on a journey here, folks. A journey to be the best spiritual life coach I can be. And to gain clients. And to use the gifts and the skills and the talents that I've been given. It's not a quick hit and I'm out of the door. No, that's not what it's about. It's about staying here, continuing to grow myself, stretch myself, stay focused, recognizing I'm building new skills and efficiencies and I'm becoming resilient in the process. And I am serving my spiritual purpose that I was divinely created to do. Excuse me for the noise out here. I came outside to tape this today, and now I've got a helicopter flying over, so my apologies for that background noise other than the birds that were chirping so beautifully. So I'm going to give that a moment in case you're having difficulty hearing me. But sometimes, you know, you just got to come out of that comfort zone in that spot in the house that makes you feel good and come outside. Come into nature. Come into a new space that you can create as a sweet spot for yourself. So I go from a comfort zone into an uncomfortable zone, back into another comfort zone, because as I'm learning and growing, the ebb and flow of the tide is what's going to keep me going from one to the next to the next. So here we are, taking actions and consciously noting how they make you feel will help you build yourself intuitively to know how far you're going, how much further you need to go, and when you may need to step back. Because the goal here is not to max yourself out, create stress for yourself. We don't want to do that. As we said, the stress we can create intentionally, and then the stress is out of our control. This you are in control of as you begin to stretch out of that space. But we don't want to overwhelm ourselves and do it too fast, too quick, that it becomes too overwhelming. And then we're not feeling any better. So as I say to you today, I invite you to stretch yourself. Think about working with me as your life coach to help you to move forward and coming out of your comfort zone to move into an uncomfortable zone until you get to your sweet spot. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you gained a little bit, and you'll join me again next Tuesday, Tea Time with Tina. Same time, same place. So glad you were here with me. Don't forget, Crossing Time Coaching. You can learn all about me on my website. Thank you so much, guys, and have a wonderful day. Peace and blessings until I see you again.